language is really the foundation block of any database management system, because you cannot really store or retrieve data into a database management system without SQL. And we went through a few slides, so I know a few of you missed the first two classes, so those slides are posted, and I'll encourage you to go and download the slides. The slides follow very closely with what the book describes. So I will go again to go ahead and study chapter 2 and look at the slides. Today we are going to go through chapter 2. We'll finish chapter 2, and then to our next class we will go through because SQL is such an important part of SQL of database management system. We are going to go through the solution side, or the problems that are listed at the back of the chapter 2, because I think that, even though most of the class chapters will not be, will not be following the, or will not be doing the problems associated at the back of the chapter, this particular chapter, because it's so important, I have, in the previous semesters that I have taught this class, it has been very helpful for the students to go through this, through the problem section in the class. So we are going to go ahead and do that. So one of the things we talked about was select statements in last class. Now there is something called select distinct. I think we probably made a couple of more slides, but we'll get that from here. Select distinct buyer department from school data. Distinct basically says that it lists one thing only one when the value is buyer for the buyer, if the value is that when you get from school data buyer and department, only list distinct buyer. So do not list buyer if buyer is available twice in the data set. So that's the difference between when you say select buyer department from school data versus select distinct buyer and department from school data. Selecting all cards, I think we talked about it. If you want to select only few columns, then you specify the columns from the table. So you say select column name, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 from the name of the table, school data. But in this case, we wanted all the columns, so we don't have to mention all the columns by name if we are getting all the columns. So we say get select star from school data. So when so if you have your book up, you can look at the school data table, and then you can see that by saying select star, you are getting all the columns that school data has: school description, department, and buyer. Those are the 4 columns that school data has, and we are getting all those 4 columns by just saying select star. We could have said select school description, department, school descriptions, department, buyer from school data. That would exactly give the same result that select star gives. When you want a particular, all the things we've seen so far, it gives everything that is stored in a particular table. In case we are not interested in getting everything in a particular table, which most of the time we will be not interested. It doesn't make sense to get everything that is stored in a particular database, because as I was giving an example in last class, as in case of NSS storing people's phone calls. There are billions and billions of records for each day. They are collecting 3 billion records for each day. So obviously, you cannot get everything from the database, and it doesn't make sense to get everything either. So you say select star from school data where department equal to water sports. And that is a good example where we are only interested in specific roles. We are only interested in getting where department equal to water sports. Specific rows and columns from one table. If we are interested in getting specific rows and columns from one table, we say select school description, comma, buyer. So we are not getting everything. We are only getting two columns, school description and buyer from school data where department equal to climate. So the example we get initially, we had first we said how to get multiple columns or all columns. Then we said how to get all columns for a particular condition. Now we are saying select columns from the table for a particular condition, which is department equal to climate. And just remember that when you do the equal, the value that you are comparing to has to be in single quotes. SQL is very finicky, so it will not. It means different things if it is single quote or double quote. So you must have single quote, and it must end on a semicolon. So if a SQL will not execute properly if it doesn't end in a semicolon. We will not talk about access in this class at all because we are not going to go through any access at all. Okay. Again, you have to write thousands of SQL statements yourself for to be able to write SQL statements. And again, we will be spending half a class, this class, and maybe next class, and that's it as far as SQL is concerned. We're not going to talk about SQL anymore after next class. So you must go and install SQL Server and write these queries yourself on tables that you created to figure out if how to get a feel for how SQL works. Sorting results. So once you get results, there is always need to sort them in particular order. So we say select star from order item, order by order number and price. So if you look at it, it is sorting by order number and then by price. It is doing so when you do a select star from order item, order by. Again, if you have any questions, just send your question to the chat room. I'll see it and I'll address it right away. So order by is a very critical feature of SQL, where to order results by some defined parameters that you specify in your SQL statement. Sort order. The default sort order is ascending, but you can order something by ascending or descending. The keyword is DESC for descending, ASC for ascending. So if you want the order, like look at this particular example. Here we want every order item to be ordered by price, descending, order number, ascending. But price is the first one. So for the same price, the price will keep on descending, whereas the order number will ascending. So again, all these are, I'm just showing you concepts. Unless you write the SQL yourself and we run it as a SQL server, it will be pretty difficult to understand what exactly I'm talking about. And that's the reason it's important. But these are relatively simple concepts. SQL is not a programming language. It's not a complete programming language. It's a pseudo programming language. It's easy to learn. It's not a complete language, but it is very powerful and it can do a lot of things that we are looking for. Okay, here's the question. It says, if we specify that the price is descending, do we need to specify that the order number is ascending? The default sort order is ascending, so if you don't mention anything, it will do ascending. But it is always a good idea to say what exactly you want to do, rather than take the default values. So the example that they have is a good example, because if you say order by price descending or order number ascending, then the first thing it will order by is price, and after that it will order the order number. Where clause option? I think this is when we, as I said, instead of getting the whole table, which has lots and lots of stuff in it, we always, or in practical, always have a where clause. And where clause is like a condition that we are attaching to the query, where we are saying give everything from school data where department equal to water sport and buyer equal to Nancy Meyer. And there is no limit on how many ends you can have. At some point, it will not make any sense to have any more n because you will not get any result if you have n for every single thing. But there is no limit, so you can have as many ends as you want. But in this case, we have two ends, department equal to water sport and buyer equal to Nancy Myers. Again, remember that when you are comparing something or you say something equals something, it must be under single quotes, and when you the single statement must end with a semicolon. So this basically says, give me all records where department equal to water sports and buyer equal to Nancy Myers. Similarly, as we can have and, we can have or. So we can say select start from school data where department equal to camping or department equal to climbing. So if you have department equal to camping or department equal to climbing, so give me where the department is camping or climbing. So the question goes, what will happen if we change this to select star from student data where department equal to camping and department equal to climbing? I'm looking for responses. Let's see what will happen. If I change the or to end, let's see who is following me. What will happen if I say select star from school data where department equal to camping and department equal to climbing? Laura says, will you get an error message? That's one. Let's see who else. Lisa says, we'll get both departments in your data and data with all columns. You'll get department of both. Okay, let's think about it. Open your book and look at the table, school data. Do you see anywhere where department is camping and department is climbing? One column, one row, which has both. There is no data in school data where department is climbing and department is camping. Doesn't exist because it's either camping or climbing. There is no school data record which is, because department has only one name. It is either camping or climbing. It cannot be camping and climbing. It can be camping or climbing, then you get both as it shows here. But if you say and, you get no results. I think Andre said no, Akmal said no. So those are the right answers. You will not get. Ashley said no, Lisa said no, Joshua Best said no, a few others probably. So the right answer is no, you will not get it. Okay, so the next thing we'll be talking about is a concept called in. Select star from school data where buyer in, and the syntax in this example is critical. But in basically means several ors. So you could have rewritten this thing saying select star from school data where buyer equals single quote Nancy Myers single quote comma buyer equals single quote Cindy Lowe single quote comma buyer equals Jerry Martin single quote Jerry Martin single quote semicolon. So instead of writing all these ors, we can write in, which says select star from school data where buyer in parenthesis single quote Nancy Myers single quote comma. So then you specify all the values. So we're looking for school data, the records in school data where buyer is one of the three. So 3 ors. Does everybody get it? And remember that you have to put everything in single quote, you have to start it with the parentheses, you have to end it with the parentheses, and then you have to put a semicolon. If you don't get it, let me know. As I said, it's critical that we understand this concept. These are fundamentals of writing SQL, and without these, we'll not be able to do any of the SQLs. Okay. I'm assuming everybody knows this because the next quiz we have will be lots of SQL. So if you don't understand, ask me now. And next class, as you said, and the quiz will be primarily writing SQL. And since it will be online, this is an online class and it's even all open book, it will be even harder than usually the test that we give for closed book test. Okay, so the next thing we'll be talking about where clause options. Select, not in. So first we looked at in. We said we are basically saying ins are nothing but ors, and instead of writing too many ors, we write in, and we say select star from table where buyer in. Similarly, we can do not in. Not means buyer is not one of Nancy Myers, Cindy Lou, Jerry Martin. Then you say it's returning Pete Hansen, because Pete Hansen is not Nancy Myers, not Cindy Lou, and Jerry Martin. So if you look at the SKU data, then unfortunately we cannot, or I don't know how to do a split screen. Probably there is a way I can figure out next class. But look at your book, the SKU data table, and see, every SQL segment that we have gone through in this class so far, if you look at your SKU data table, you'll see why the result is what it is. The result is showing Pete Hansen, because Pete Hansen is not in the list, Nancy Myers, Cindy Lou, or Jerry Martin. So this is an important concept that we use for SQL. Where clause options ranges with between. So we looked at where, we looked at in, where we looked at not in. Now we are looking at something called between. So let's start from order item where extended price between 100 and 200. And it's a very powerful concept, a keyword in SQL, where you can say, between basically says that give me everything between 100 and 200. So it's usually used for numeric or integer fields, the fields that store numeric values. Obviously, you cannot do, if you have a value, say buyer, you cannot say select star from order item where buyer between 5, because buyer is a character or varchar field, and between only works for numeric fields. So if it is numeric field, you can always say between 100 and 200, between 3,000 and 5,000, between 1 million and 2 million, between 600 and 800. So between is always valid when the underlying data values are numeric. Okay, the same way we did between 100 and 200, the same thing can be done with math symbols, where we say select star from order item where extended price is greater than 100, greater than equal to 100, and extended price is less than equal to 200. So this greater than equal to and less than equal to is a what do you call, you can either use between or you can use greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. They are they can be substituted with each other. And it is your choice which one to use, but if you are very math-oriented person, it's probably greater than equal to, less than equal to make sense for you. If you are inclined to think not as mathematically as some of other ones, between probably makes more sense. But you can use either of the two. Okay, I think this is another key concept and we use it all the time. The SQL keyword like can be combined with wildcard symbols. Star, underscore, exactly one character, star, percent, any set of one or more characters. I think we are not going to go through say Access because that's what we're going to use. We are going to talk about SQL Server and see what exactly in the SQL Server. So let's talk about this like in the next slide. Okay. So this is called wildcard. Select star from school data where buyer like Pete percentage, single quote, Pete percentage, single quote. What exactly it means? It means that give me from school data all columns of school data where buyer is like, means buyer's name starts with Pete and then there can be a lot of different things after Pete. We don't know. As long as it starts with Pete, give me it. So it returns Pete Hansen. 2 rows with Pete Hansen. If there was a guy called Pete Olson, it would have come back. If there was a guy called Pete Smith, it would have come up. If there was a guy called Pete Hubbard, it would have come. So anything after Pete would have come. So this query basically says, I'm just looking for a Pete. I don't know what the last name of Pete is, but I know his first name is Pete. And because I don't know what Pete I'm looking for, the wildcard percentage, let me choose all Pete's. And that's what, so when you are writing a SQL statement and you are trying to retrieve some data and you do not know that I'm looking for somebody called Pete, I don't know what his last name is, or I don't know, I know his name, he might be even, it will even return somebody called Peter, because the first 4 character matches. We're saying that we only know the first 4 characters, we do not know anything about any other value in his name. So this is so let's say here's a question for you all. So if school data had a buyer named Uncle Pete, so let's say school data has a buyer named Uncle Pete. So if I run this statement, select star from school data where buyer is like single quote Pete percentage single quote comma, will the database give me that record? Let me see what you guys think. In the database I have something called Uncle Pete. If I run this query that is on the screen right now, will Uncle Pete be displayed there? Great answers. I don't see anybody. Anyone? Should Uncle Pete? My database has a buyer from Uncle Pete. Is Uncle Pete going to show up when you write this query? So let's start from school data where buyer like single quote Pete percentage, single quote semicolon. I don't see anyone. The answer is no. And why the answer is no? The answer is no because the buyer like Pete, the first four characters of the buyer's name should start with Pete. I don't care what is after Pete. But in order for this to match, the first four characters has to be Pete. But in my example, the first four character was Uncle UNCL, not Pete. So it will not match. It will return nothing. What it will have, let's say there is a buyer called Peter Hook. Will it return Peter Hook? I have a buyer called Peter Hook. Anyone? Anyone? Peter Hook. Should the query return anything? Anyone? Okay, Peter Hook, yes, it will return Peter Hook because the first four character is Pete. Is anybody having trouble following me? Okay, sorry, I didn't see for a while because my great. I see a bunch of you have the first character message, so that's good because I didn't see it for a little bit. My chat window probably scrolled down. Good, but I see a lot of you. Yes, because we will get a Peter Hook because the first four character matches. Great, thank you. I see a lot of them said yes. Good. I was also hoping that I'm not missing something. Good. Okay, so what we're going to do is it's around 8:42. We are going to take a 20 minutes break or 15 minutes break. We'll be back at 9 o'clock, close to 9, maybe 9:56 or close to 9. And 9 o'clock we'll start the rest of the chapter. We'll probably go till 9:50, close to 10. And then I'll give you 15 minutes to talk to you about your group, get the group started, talk about the project, and go from there. So it's close to 8:45. We'll be back around 8:57, close to 9 o'clock. We'll start promptly at 8:57 or 9 at the latest. All right, see you then.